If you ever find yourself in situations, in meetings, important presentations, in situations at work, where you get that little voice in your head telling you that you're not good enough, or you're going to mess it up, or things are going to go wrong, then check out this video. In this video, I'm going to give you one simple strategy of how you can beat imposter syndrome. We've all been there. We've all been there. I can remember a time like 2 or 3 years ago, with all my experience, with all the presentations I've done, with all the years of experience I have, I can remember being on a call, and there were a number of people on the call, and I was responsible for a section of the call about 25 minutes in, and there were other consultants who were also speaking. And there was me and this other person, and we were responsible for the comms and the marketing. And the client was kind of doing their diligence on whether to work with us or whether to not, but it was a big kind of consortium of people working. For whatever reason, on that call, whether I was tired, whatever it was, I started getting this voice in the back of my head, knowing that the questions were going to get to me, knowing that I had to come up with some answers. Out of nowhere, this voice in the back of my head starts going, Laura, you're going to mess it up. Laura, what if you can't answer the questions? Laura, there are other people. There's so much at stake. You've really, really got to do this. And instead of kind of going, right, I know how to do this. I'm confident. I've got experience. I know exactly what to say in exactly these scenarios. I started listening to this voice eating away at me, like, oh my God, what if you say something really dumb? What if you say something and the others don't agree? What if you say something and you can't answer the question properly? What if it all goes wrong? What if? And you know what happened when it got to me is I had talked my way out of it so much that when the questions came up that I needed to answer, I couldn't get the voice, I couldn't get the words out of my mouth to answer. And people sort of, there was that awful silence where someone's waiting for someone else to speak, the questions asked, and I just, for whatever reason, that imposter syndrome inside of me just couldn't get me to commit and say anything on the line. And after an embarrassing amount of silence, someone else comes up and says, oh, actually, the person who's meant to be answering this question isn't on the line. So if you could just email the questions, we'll get them to answer them. And that was it. Reputation, confidence, gone in an instance. That was one time in a very long time since I've been lost for words, but it creeps up on us all the time, this doubt, this criticism, this self-criticism that we have. We'd never say it to anyone else. But there is one thing you can do, one thing that I forgot to do back then, one thing to do when you're starting to hear those voices, and that is to flip your focus around. So instead of focusing on yourself and what you're doing and what you're saying and what you're thinking and what you're hearing, flip the focus outside. And it takes a bit of practice, but you get better at it. So focus on the person you're talking to, or focus on the window at the end of the room. Focus on anything that is in your external world, because actually your brain cannot focus inside and outside at the same time. So if you train your brain, or if you feel it going because of the criticism that's going on in that internal voice, flip your focus out and focus on the outside. Focus on the people talking or anything external to you. And that will stop that dialogue that it is very, very unconstructive. That imposter syndrome kind of bats it away. If you found this interesting, I would welcome you to go to my website, which is all about effective communication. And all you got to do is go to www.communicatewithlaura.com. And I really look forward to seeing you there.